2019 is finally here. It seems like the summer and training camp really flew by, and this is the best time of year. You can feel the energy and enthusiasm for the start of the season. While watching college football here this last weekend, obviously it was a lot of fun to be able to watch that, and looking forward to our game Friday night and football this weekend. Just a quick training camp review. I've said this a few times in the meetings that we had, but I absolutely love our guys. I love this team. I love being around them. I love watching them work. I love watching them interact with each other. It's been a lot of fun here through training camp. I would say this has been the best training camp that we've had on a number of fronts. One, it's the healthiest that we've been as a football team at this point. I believe we've only got a couple guys that we started training camp with that may not be able to participate in the game this Friday, but will be back with us. So overall, we're really a pretty healthy football team. I think we made the most improvement during training camp in all three phases that we've made since I've been here, and kind of the fewest distractions when we talk about injuries and things like that. So it's overall been a really good training camp and a lot of fun to be around the guys. Our goal is to, as it says right there on the wall, have 10 units strong, and a lot of it has to do with depth. The depth of each unit will determine how far we can go. I feel this is the most depth. If you talked about the 10 units, I'd say probably about 7 of them. I feel really good about our depth. We've got a few other ones that we still have to develop, some younger players to get to the level that we want, feel good about to make it through the season. But that's more than what we could have said in the past. Right now, just with our team, what I'm really trying to get these guys to understand and live by are two phrases that we talk about consistently here. First one, more games are won than they are lost, and we talk about first and foremost the effort that we need to play with, the effort that we need to practice with is so important. Being able to do that and match that with great fundamentals is really important. The ball security is everything. We talked a lot about that. One of the biggest keys to our improvement this year is going to be ball security, the mental errors, and then not beating ourselves with foolish penalties. And then practice execution becomes game reality. Those things have to show up in practice. I go back through my career, I go back and look at last year, the days that we had bad practices, a lot of those things showed up, and then they showed up on Saturday. And we as a football team, players and staff alike, have to be able to put those things on film in practice to get them to show up consistently in a game. I know obviously a lot of questions about depth chart, quarterback. Right now, we know what we are doing at quarterback. We have a plan. We know who will start. We'll know who will play. We are not going to make a public announcement about that plan and who that will be. And hopefully everyone respects that. But there's no competitive advantage for us to do that with the different styles of play that we have at the quarterback position. But we are crystal clear with our team, our players, on what we're doing, how quarterbacks will be utilized in the game on Friday night. And obviously we'll talk about that after the game and as we move forward for the rest of the year. UMass is a team coming in Friday night that presents a lot of challenges because of a new staff. Whenever you face a team in game one with a new staff, you got to figure out what they're going to do schematically. You got to look at the personnel changes and where they may be moving people around, and just the overall attitude and identity of the football team. Those are challenges. So we're going way back to games that Walt Belt has coached in, both at Maryland, Florida State, maybe even Arkansas State, special teams coordinator to D coordinator. We've got to go way back and look at a lot of different things and try to get an idea on what they're going to be doing there at UMass with the players that they have on that roster. So that presents a lot of challenges, and it really becomes kind of like a rules game here this Friday. Just last thing before opening for questions, we've talked a lot about this too. This is a different team. It's a different year. It's 2019. I hope that Rutgers fans and people here in New Jersey will give this team a chance and come out and watch these young men. These are terrific young people that are going to try to represent this university and this program in a first-class manner with their effort, their enthusiasm, and just the way they go out and compete every single game day. And I hope everyone will give these guys a chance to prove what they can do here this season. So with that, I'll go ahead and open up for any questions.
Two-part question with the quarterbacks. Chance that both of them can play?
Well, we've got 3 guys that have been practicing, so like I've mentioned before, nothing is off the table.
How do you improve the pass offense overall? Last 3 years, it's been 124th or worse. How do you improve the pass offense overall? Well,
it starts up front, and we've got to be able to protect the quarterback. If we can't protect the quarterback and give him some time, then it's really tough to have an effective pass game. So that's the first part of it. Second part of it, the quarterbacks and receivers have to be on the same page with what they're asked to do, how to identify coverages, how to get in and out of breaks, be on time with the throws. There's just a lot that goes into that. And you know, our job right now, honestly, is about scoring points. And however we have to do that to score points, we have to score points offensively. Part of that is we have to have a more productive pass game. Doesn't mean we need to be able to pass it every down, but we've got to be able to get more production. And all of those pieces have to be working together.
As a defensive coordinator, defensive coach, what are the challenges that not knowing who the other team is going to have a quarterback presents to you?
Well,
So what do you
kind
put
of
on?
same thing. You know, when you look and read about who they're practicing with at quarterback, they're different styles. And when you look at Walt Bell's offense over the last few years, you can kind of tell what he wants to be, but just a question of does he have the quarterback to do that? And we'll find out Friday night. But it does present a different set of challenges because their guys are different. You know, one guy's more of probably a pocket passer, another guy's more elusive and can run and do some quarterback run game things. So different challenges, different things we've got to prepare for.
Coach, we didn't get a depth chart. How does that wide receiver position stack up? I know you had a lot of guys competing for spots.
Yeah, we do have a lot of guys that have been out there practicing, but at the end of the day, we have to identify who are the few guys that we can count on to go make plays. And that's really what we've been able to do as we've gone through training camp. There's still a lot of guys getting practice reps, but we've really kind of honed in on who are the guys, who are the few 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. Hopefully that list grows as we go through the season, but who are the guys we're really going to be able to count on? Because you guys have mentioned it before, when you got 15, 16, 17 wideouts at practice, they're not all going to be able to go out and be counted on and trusted to make plays on game day. So we had to whittle that down and make sure that we're focused on those few guys that can get the job done.
You mentioned not hoping that fans give this team a chance. I'm curious if you were talking to them now, what would be the one thing you would say to them that would make them believe that this team will be different than it was a year ago?
Well, there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to make them believe it. It's going to be what we do on Friday night and then what we do each weekend after that. So, you know, me sitting here talking about what we're going to do, you know, isn't going to do any good. It's not going to, you know, make people believe that we're better. It's what we're going to do, you know, on Friday and the following Saturdays. But I just want fans and people to give this team a chance to show what they can do, and we'll go from there. But it's not going to come from my words.
But you
Breaking stuff.
bad start here for the media.
Yeah, wow.
But you see,
Angry
you do believe
already,
it. Exactly. You do believe it will be better though from last year. I mean, what is there? Are there things
Well,
you've seen that?
yeah. I mean, you've never heard a coach start the season saying, "Man, we're going to suck. You know, we're not going to be any good." We've invested an insane amount of time in trying to improve every individual and every aspect of our football team. Again, where are we judged? We're judged by the product that shows up on the game field on Friday night. Like I said, that's it. And that's our focus, and we've invested a lot of time in a lot of areas, physically, mentally, leadership-wise, chemistry of the team. There's a lot that we've done here this offseason, as much as any offseason that I've ever been a part of as a coach, to try to get this team moving forward.
Coach, can you talk about the quarterback a little bit more? And is it a matter of it was a tough decision, or it was just, hey, here are two guys who can bring two different things, and we may want to play things a certain way?
Well, there's a combination of both. There are a different set of skills that they each bring to the offense. But like I mentioned, I had a lot of fun watching all of our quarterbacks really compete through training camp. And it was a tough decision to figure out what we're going to do. But that's why we took the time to let it play out, because in the end, I think you know, what we're doing is the right decision. And I think it'll help our football team. But they do bring different skill sets. You know, when you put all three of the quarterbacks together that have been getting reps, they're all three different.
To follow up, just are they both fairly close in terms of preparation, effort, execution, leadership? All
Yeah, that part of it, a lot of those things are equal. They're equated. So really it comes down to who has, in the end, made the most plays and led the offense most effectively in practice.
Chris, I think from what we saw Carter and Sikowski getting the bulk of the first team reps. Johnny Langan, did he make a big stride in the last couple of weeks?
No, I mean, Johnny's coming out of spring. We knew if Johnny was eligible, he has a skill set that we don't have at that position that can be difficult for defenses to prepare for. So we've always had a Johnny Langan plan in case he was cleared, which he was. So We've been working on that throughout training camp. May not be when you guys are there, may not be with the one offense, but we've been working on things with Johnny all along, just in case that we got to this point, he was cleared and we were able to use him.
Just the depth from this team. We've talked about it, Big Ten Media Days and, in the past in the offseason. Do you feel more confident in the depth, not just your Big Ten starting lineup, just the overall depth in year 4?
Well, it's like I mentioned, the goal is to have 10 units strong with the ability to go play and the depth at those units. We're not, 10 strong in terms of where we want the depth to be. But that's not unlike a lot of other teams in college football. You've got your typical elite level programs that might be 2, 3, even 4 deep across the board at some positions. But the majority of college football is not where you want. If you talk to 90% of the coaches in college football, they'd all tell you depth is a concern. And usually it's at the line of scrimmage. Nobody usually has enough offensive and defensive linemen. Where the games are won and lost, is up front.
Chris, what do you think the identity of this team is? What's your strength? What are you going to be able to hang your hat on this year?
Well, I'm not going to give away any schematic secrets if that's what you're asking. Our identity is going to be our competitive spirit. That's what I want it to be. I want us to when someone turns on the tape or someone shows up, I want them to see a team that plays with relentless effort. They consistently execute with great fundamentals. They excel at special situations, and we don't beat ourselves. And we just compete. We compete in everything that we do.
Chris, you guys had a mock game this past weekend. How did that go, and did any certain players catch your eye?
It went exceptionally well. I think this is the 4th mock game that we've done, and it was by far and away the cleanest that we've had, which, again, you would hope that would be the case. What I was really pleased with was the progression of the football team in each scrimmage day that we had in the stadium. Whether it was a thud or not, just the game-like situations that we went through in the stadium. Our first Saturday we went out there, the defense really handed it to the offense. We didn't play very good. The next time we went out there, it was more equal back and forth. And then the third time we went out there for the mock game, it was against UMass looks, so it wasn't 1s, 1s or 1s, 2s, but it was the cleanest that we've been in terms of our operation, getting 11 on and off the field, making our calls, penalties, all of that stuff. So I was really, really pleased with what I saw.
Avery,
Take 2 more questions.
Avery Young recently said one of the players he likens himself most to is Isaiah Morgan. You as a defensive backs coach, what similarities do you see between these 2 players?
Competitive spirit, that's it. They both got good size, skill level. It is what it is. But they both competed, and they both really worked hard to be the best they can be. Isaiah learned that over the course of his career. I think Avery is a product of watching Isaiah as a senior just handle his business and go about his preparation. And Avery watched that and learned that, and he's applying that. He started doing that last year, but he's really doing it right now at this point, which is a great thing to see.
Coach, Zach Fiegel's enrolled over the weekend and joining the program. What's it mean to have him join the team?
Well, he just got out there yesterday for the first day. We recruited him pretty hard out of high school before he made the decision to go to Miami. They decided to come back and join our program. What does it mean right now? I don't know, but we're happy to have him. He's a talented individual, and right now he's probably going to have to sit out redshirt this year, which is fine, and then he'll be in the competition in the future. But it's just another example of a young man that's heard about what we're doing in this program and made the decision to come back, and we're excited to have him.
Last question. We talked about the unknown at quarterback for UMass, but is there a challenge first-year program? Do you have to go back and look at Florida State? The challenge of preparing for Walt Bell, assuming that you've been doing it for a while, but how do you prepare for UMass?
Yeah, you just go back to all those games, the places that all of those coordinators have been. Walt's an offensive guy. You go back and look at Florida State from last year. You go back and look at the 2 years that he was at Maryland, where we competed against him, and even go back to where he was at Arkansas State. So you go back and you really look at all those things. You're really looking for common themes that would be carried through each spot or each stop, so you really know what he likes. And then you also look for common defensive schemes, so you can see how he's going to attack certain fronts and coverages based on similarities of what you do defensively. But we had to do that for the defense as well. The D coordinator was at Maryland, so we've gone back and looked at a lot of Maryland tape from the last couple of years, and then the special teams coordinator came from North Carolina. So and Arkansas State before that. So we've gone back and researched all of those places for all three of those coordinators.
And I'm assuming Andy Boo could help you with the Maryland component with the defensive.
I would hope he'd be able to do that, but you never know.
Thanks.
All right, guys, thank you.